Well, notice as well, we have so many references and so many allusions to this. St. Augustine will say in his Confessions, I wept for Dido. I should have been weeping for my own soul, and I wept for Dido in Book 1. There's a sense in Confessions that St. Augustine never could quite get over this notion of the Aeneas story and the idea that Aeneas and Dido had their time. And of course, we'll say this later when we talk about St. Augustine, he's so into the notion of sexual fulfillment. And of course, in the end, he says it burned him up. We'll have to put this at 3A though. When we meet Dante and the Inferno, we will have to come back to the powerful resonances here of the power of passion and the way that passion can lead to choices that are not always so healthy. What is your favorite breaking up text? I mean, you knew that one was coming, right? What is the text for you? It may be a song, it may be a movie, maybe a play, maybe a video game, where separation happens. Okay, well, let's go to 3B finally. Let's own this book. So, what do you think? That's the obvious question. You knew it was coming. What do you think of Aeneas? Is he a hero or is he a villain? And can you make arguments for both? Probably, right? What about Dido? Does she get what she deserves? Did she get what she had coming to her? And then what about the gods in all of this? I mean, it seems like they're just kind of messing around. The word picture in Shakespeare's King Lear is the gods just kind of mess around with humans the way we mess around with flies, you know what I mean? See, you get it here. How about this one? Is love blind? And if love is blind, why? Right? And why, for example, couldn't Aeneas see this coming and have some control himself, right? Why has he got to enjoy Dido and then bolt from Dido? What was a time, okay, you knew this was coming, sorry. What was a time when you were Aeneas, that is, you loved and you left? What was a time when you were Dido, that is to say, you loved and you were jacked? And finally, do you see this as all the gods' fault? That is to say, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, the opening lines of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Is it all fate? Is it all predetermined in some way? Well, if in Aeneid Book 2 we have the fall of Troy, and Aeneid Book 4 we have the fall of Dido and Carthage, and Aeneid Book 6, the key book of the Aeneid, in the opening 6 books, we've got the journey to the underworld, we've got the prophecy of a rise of Rome. But first, before we get there, and by the way, Aeneas, yes, this is not the last time that Aeneas and Dido are together. He will see her in the underworld in a famous moment. But first, we've got Book 5, and the honoring of Aeneas' father, Anchises, which begs a really interesting question. We raised it a few moments ago. We'll say it one more time. If Anchises had been alive when they were in Carthage, would we have even had this liaison and therefore this falling out? Or would Anchises have said to his son, this is bad form all the way around. She's into you. You need to make sure and let her know right away, this ain't going to happen. Where was the voice of a father? Aeneas didn't have it. And of course, we have the destruction and the tragedy. Well, come back and we'll do Book 5. I hope you're enjoying the study as much as I am. Thank you.